Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a little different. I'll be reviewing my own ZX 10R and giving you the brutally honest review of it. Let's go. So, the 2019 ZX 10R puts out 210 horsepower and 115 Newton meters of torque. So the difference between the 2018 and the 2019 is that the 2018 puts out 10 horsepower less than the 2019, and the 2019 gets the new finger follower actuation, which increases the stability and the rev limit of the bike. And now there's a few cosmetic changes, that is the red lines which you can see near the windscreen, as well as the red line which is below near the tank. What do you call that? Pan bellies. That's about the cosmetic changes. Also, the 2019 gets a bi-directional quick shifter, whereas the 2018 only has the up quick shifter, that is, you cannot downshift with it. So now let's get to the electronics of the bike. It offers KTC, that is Kawasaki Traction Control, EBC, that is Engine Braking Control, and CMS, which is your Corner Managing System. It also has 3 riding modes, that is full, medium and low, FML, not what you're thinking, I just explained it. And other than that, it has a steering dampener, which will help you out in these situations. Let me tell you about the mods which I've done on the bike. So if you can see the gloss on the bike, that's because of the Ceramic Pro coating, that is a 10-layer coat. Yeah, I do recommend it because even after a year or 2-3 years, the gloss and the shine of the bike is still going to be the same. Next thing is the radiator guard. If you can see this here, this is very helpful when you're riding on the highway. On high speeds, what happens is small stones tend to come and hit. Since you're going at a high speed, that can really damage your radiator. So it's better if you get it. Then the other most important thing is the frame sliders. No matter which bike you ride, frame sliders are very important because they protect all this expensive, what do you call it?
Fairings.
Fairings, yeah. They protect this expensive fairings, which will cost you a bomb. In case you fall, it's a good thing to have. Then the double bubble windscreen. The double bubble windscreen, it's what I got it for is just for cosmetic. If you really wanted, if you're a really tall rider and you feel that the windscreen's not enough, I would suggest you go for Puig or the MRA windscreens, which are a taller one. But since I'm not really a tall rider, I'm about 5'8", 5'9", the double bubble does the job for me. This costs you pretty less, you can get it off Amazon. And if you come to the most expensive mod on the bike is the Austin Racing. This exhaust is one of the loudest exhausts you can get for the 10R. It costs you somewhere about 1 lakh, since this is a 3/4 system, that is the link pipe as well as a decat. The headers come from the company as titanium, so you really don't need to change them. So it's a 3/4 system and it costs you about 1 lakh. And the pillion seat. The 2018 onwards 10Rs do not have pillion seats. They just give you a green plate, it's called the cowl. So if you want to get the pillion seat and these two foot pegs, they'll cost you about 40,000 in the company, but I recommend you get it outside for a much cheaper price. So that's all for the mods. Now let's get to the pros and cons of the bike. So the pros, the handling. It has the best handling which I've ever got on a bike. Even though if you're riding at 40, 60 or even 299, you'll still get the same stability. Then, now let's get to the mileage. Mileage is in pros? Yes, it's in pros. The mileage, it gives about 18 on highways and about 14 to 15 in city, which is exceptionally good for a super bike. And since it has a 17 liter tank, you can really travel distances if you're going for a long ride. Like I have been to Kerala personally and it gave me a really good experience because I did not have to stop at many fuel stations for refueling. Then let's get to the performance. The performance of the bike is exceptionally good again because it produces 210 horsepower, which gives a tough competition to your S1000RR, your Ducati V4 or any other leader class bike out there, because all are in the same power band. Other than that, we have the bidirectional quick shifter. It is amazing to have a bidirectional quick shifter because if you're on the highway and you don't really need to use the clutch, you can just keep upshifting and downshifting instantly, and you can overtake and do whatever you want to do. So it's a pretty good thing to have. People can get it done from outside with the aftermarket Power Commander, but it doesn't give you the same feel as a stock would give you. And now the braking. The braking on the bike is again really good, but the only problem is with the KIBS, that is Kawasaki's ABS, Intelligent Braking System it's called, the Kawasaki ABS. I'll get to that in the cons, why I don't like that. And then the maintenance, it's as expensive as maintaining a KTM, I'm not even kidding. It'll cost you somewhere about 5k to 10k to get your services done. That is once a year or twice a year. I do it twice a year because I travel a lot. Okay, let's get to the cons. The first con of the bike is the color options. You really can't choose any colors. There's only one color option which is preset by the company. That is your lime green color. Other than that, there is winter edition, which is extremely rare to find because they are limited edition and there are only about 400 of them in the world. The second con is your low end power. The bike does not have a good low end power compared to your rivals because the bike is not even meant for it, because the Kawasaki is meant to put out power at the end or the middle. Then let's get to KIBS, the Kawasaki Intelligent Braking System, which I was telling you about. So the brakes on the bike are exceptionally good, but the Kawasaki ABS is what I don't like. What happens is if the road is uneven and you brake, you expect the bike to stop a little quick, but then the KIBS kicks in and it increases the braking distance a lot. And I have had many personally close calls because of this. And now let's get to the obvious con, which is your wrist and back pain. It is pretty obvious. If you're looking for a ZX-10R or any sport bike of such, you should be ready for it. If you're looking for a long rides, you would rather take an adventure. But since you're taking a 10R for long rides, it's pretty obvious you'll get wrist and back pain, but you'll have the best stability compared to your adventure bikes. Now, as you saw, I couldn't really find many cons for the bike. And would I recommend this bike to anyone? Yes, I would. Anyone who's looking to upgrade from a 600cc to a 1000cc or leader class, yes, you should definitely check out the 10R. It's a really good option, and especially for the price range. Also, if you're a beginner and you're moving to a leader class like I did, I started with a RC200 and now I moved to a 10R directly. It wasn't really that difficult to master, but you can do it. And that's all for today, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, like, share, comment, and tell me what you liked about the video, or if you have any suggestions, please put it down in the comment section. Thank you. Peace out. Subscribe. The 2019 gets the new finger follower actuation. I said it in one go, and
Keep going.
I will be reviewing the, what bike am I reviewing? A green plate. It's called the Cowl, right? It's called a Cowl, right? Yeah. It is. Okay. So thank you. Peace out.
Please subscribe, please.
I told subscribe.
You didn't tell subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribe.